depending on where you are along the coast, and that means right now we should be seeing some more arrivals of the initial wave. But again, we're going to continue to track this as it happens. We're seeing that again. We're nothing of any major import right now, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen later on, especially as we get toward noon along the California coast. That's when high tide hits, and if you have another wave coming on shore, that's when you can see more damage.
So it's important to prepare for the worst because this is not over yet.
Okay. NBC's Ann Thompson has been keeping track of the latest coming out of Japan for us, and she joins us now. Ann.
Meredith, we have some new numbers on the missing and dead, and these numbers come from the government-sponsored broadcaster NHK in Japan. And here they are. They say there are 500 people missing at this hour, 300 dead. And among the problems, the many problems Japan is facing, the earthquake broke a dam in the prefecture, which is essentially a state of Fukushima, and it has washed away homes. There are trains that have derailed. There are ports that have just been turned into these giant whirlpools where you can see boats swirling around in them, being sucked into the vortex. It is just an incredible scene. There are also reports in Tokyo of tens of thousands of people just wandering sort of dazed in the streets because traffic, life has come to a halt in Tokyo in the aftermath of this earthquake and tsunami. Japan also, as you may know, is very reliant on nuclear power, and the government has declared a state of emergency because there was a problem at one nuclear power plant. It's cooling, it stopped taking in the fluid it needs to cool the reactor. And so they are still evacuating residents around that reactor. We're told about some 3,000 people, but we understand from an international nuclear agency that that water has gone back into the cooling system and is now starting to cool things down. The good news is that there have been no reports of radioactive or radioactive leaks anywhere in Japan. But
they're breathing all those
chemicals. Much of the power is out in that country. More than 4 million people are without
That's
power.
Awful.
But it is just an enormous
That's just drinking and partying like it's no big deal.
I think the next one's going to be in Alaska
is urging its people to keep
because
calm
the
and
earthquake chooses Japan, the Philippines, Chile, and Alaska. It's the ring of volcanoes.
Offers of aid from all around the world. The United Nations, the U.S. government, and the U.S. Navy says it is mounting what it describes as a massive humanitarian response to help Japan cope with this destruction. Meredith?
Yeah, you know, Anna, people in Hawaii and along the west coast here in this country have had a certain number of hours to prepare for this tsunami. They were warned several hours before it actually hit hit land. But in Japan, can you give us a sense of the timeline there between when the earthquake struck and when the tsunami hit? How much time the people of Japan had?
Meredith, I'm not exactly sure about what the time delay was. We do know that the quake hit about 2:46 in the afternoon. But look, people in Japan are used to these, are very well prepared for earthquakes. Japan sits on what's called a ring of fire, some active volcanoes.
I'm sure Hope and them are sitting there thinking they're just fine.
All kinds of earthquakes. Most of them obviously much less severe than this, so they are prepared.
Yep, that's exactly what we just said.
When you see those pictures of that water come rushing through, you realize there's nothing.
There's always earthquakes in that main epicenter.
It's just so powerful. The water itself is powerful, and then when you think of all the debris it picks up, the cars and the homes and the trucks and the bridges, nothing could withstand it. It has just been an amazing scene.
All right, Ann Thompson, thank you very much.
And the President and the Secretary of State have already expressed their condolences to Japan for what they're enduring. We're going to